Hey everybody, it is I, Uncle Greg, aka the Free American Spirit, and today I got not one but two giveaways for you. So hit that thumbs up, the like button, and leave a comment, and also be subscribed because that's going to be part of how you're going to qualify to win these prizes. And without further ado, I want to get into a little bit of the Xterra Pro video that I made a couple weeks ago because apparently a lot of people got butthurt over it. So let's get into that for a moment, then we'll get into the contest. So in my video, I very first thing I said was, it's a good detector. You can see all the great stuff. Plenty of videos about it. Go Google it up. Of course, people did not like that, and they proceeded to tell me how nuts I was. That's okay. I had some good ones, and then I had some fanboys that had to point out every great detail, and then I had some trolls, and I'll tell you about those in a minute. But anyways, make a long story short, I just wanted to cover some of the questions they had. So the first guy was actually helpful. He said, Greg, you made a mistake. You can update the Xterra Pro using the cord just like you could do, with the 600 or the 800. And so I pulled out my nifty manual there. I looked in the all through the, what do you call it, table of contents. And I see right there on page 52, it says factory reset. I could not find uploads anywhere. But sure enough, like you said, on page 52, there was that little blurb right there that said you can do updates when they become available. So I immediately pinned that comment saying I was wrong to the top, but people ignored it anyways. So that brought up another thing that I didn't point out in the original video. Minelab, if you want a beginner to love you and to come back and to whatever, you make things easy for them. And that's really what these videos are about. It's not about the detector itself. It's about a new person getting in the hobby and how you retain them. So now a new person has to print out this 52-page manual. It's got all these full color graphics every third page or whatever, banners. It's got all kinds of empty white space in it. So A, they could have shortened it down a lot. B, they didn't have to use all these graphic pages or black ink pages like that. And C, more importantly, for about $1, you could have just put this in there and the guy didn't have to go search it out, print it all out. And then when he's done, after an hour of printing and he paid for all the paper, he's got to go back to Walmart and buy printer cartridges because his color ink cartridges ran out. Then some guy said, well, people don't need a manual, Greg. They just watch videos. For a guy like me that has 50 years of detecting, I know my way around a detector pretty good. The only time I really got to look at a manual is if they come up with some new term, like when Deus came out with salt sensitive or whatever it was. I was like, what the hell is that? Anywho, so let's just say the guy watches all the videos. They're great. You learn by watching instead of reading. It helps out a lot. You go out to your backyard and you practice, okay? But you got to remember, once again, these people don't know what we know. They don't know what ground balance is. They don't know what iron reject is. They don't know what notching is. They don't know what iron bias is. They don't know any of that stuff. So they're going to take all this information in. They're going to go way out in the boonies to do some rail cutting, and then they forget half the stuff and they can't remember how to ground balance it or do this, that, the other, or do a frequency check or whatever. So is it easier for them just to grab the manual? Of course it is. They can grab the manual, they can figure it out and go, oh, and their trip's not ruined. If they're way out, they got to come all the way back home or back in the cell range, to get a video up. And even if they are there with the video, they got to watch the video. They got to remember which video they watch. They got to watch it until they get to the part that solves their problem, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're new, print your manuals out. So that's another thing the Minelab could have done. So really, I was talking about the earphones and the headphones. Basically, I told people, if you're going to die with these, you have to go out and buy headphones. They're 149 bucks, 159 bucks or whatever, and you can't buy Minelab's headphones because they're not available unless you buy them with the unit as a package. But if you just bought the standalone unit, then figured out you need headphones, you're out of luck. So people had a cow about that. And one guy said, Greg, it's 269 bucks. It's the best detector ever. And mine came with headphones. Well, Sparky, if yours came with headphones, it wasn't 269 bucks. It was more around 400, give or take. So that's just wrong. And a new person, once again, shouldn't have to go buy somebody else's headphones. Back in the day, if you remember, for the people that say they have 30 years experience or whatever, when you got a headphone and it came with a proprietary, attachment, that was a really expensive detector. All the detectors, 500 or 600 bucks, 700 bucks, somewhere in there, 400 bucks and below. They all came with a 1/4 inch plug. And I remember the day when some people started using 8-inch plugs, and in the community just about lost its brains. And that was a $2 adapter. So now you're telling a new guy, oh, you can just go buy headphones for $149, and our headphones aren't available. And then that brought us up to the Bluetooth. The headphones were great, for a Manicore or something like that, 1,600 bucks, fine. But for a new guy, it's not. And then I was talking about the leakings, or excuse me, the Bluetooth. That's also proprietary. So now new guys got to even kind of think of, what am I going to do for this? And he's got to go to YouTube and ask questions. Then he's got to find the little box you put on there that makes the Bluetooth compatible with regular headphones. And then he's got to configure it and tape it to his thing. Just another hassle for the guy. That doesn't leave a good taste in somebody's mouth. Okay, so those couple things are pretty important. I talked about the leaks. Guys, if you're going to detect and your box goes in the water and you got an 1/8 inch plug jacked in there, you're going to get leaks in there. And if Minelab says, oh, it came from the port, are they going to warranty that or not? I'm really not sure. I know they warranty it, for waterproof, but I'm not sure about when you have this port open for a jack. Anywho, so, those are kind of ridiculous arguments they made to me. But anyways, I digress. Let's get on to one of the contests. So the first contest we have, in each of these contests, you'll need to do a separate comment for. You cannot combine them together. So the first is I'm giving away 2 of these Ultra SanDisk cards. So the keyword will be to put in the comment, SanDisk Ultra. SanDisk Ultra. Put it in the comments, and I will pick 2 people, and each will win a 32 gigabyte high speed. Uh, this one's a little faster than this one. So the first person I pick will win the 80 megabyte a second, and the second person will win the 40 megabyte a second. So like, subscribe, and you really should hit the bell notification, because I'm all the time giving away stuff either I bought and I didn't use, or some equipment that I bought and now I've upgraded, or even new stuff. And the next contest I'm going to tell you about is brand new. So moving along with this, then we got the fanboys that, they just kept listing all the great stuff and how great it was for 267. And I just got to emphasize to new people, look, prices and everything. This detector has a lot of good features for 267. It's hard to meet on features, but it doesn't mean everything else that's involved with it and what you can undo, or customer service or whatever, supporting this, that, the other. That's all combined in what you're doing, what type of person you are. And I would highly recommend, instead of 267, you save up to about the $400 range and just get something that's a little better for your needs. Not that this is bad. Okay. So don't come unglued to me again, people. Just saying, just until Minelab learns how to do things for its new customers, which is not a hassle, I'm just going to pound them about it. And I've used Minelabs, like I said, I've got 50 years. I've probably been on 3,000 hunts, not to include all the stupid test gardening I've done over 50 years. I've had, God, hundreds of detectors. I've had Excaliburs, E-Tracks, Excalibur 2, the Sovereign, the Musketeer, what was it, the Pro 7 Xterra when it came out. So it's not like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, all us old people, some of us have a lot of experience. So take that for a grain of salt. Next thing we came down was a guy was talking about sound back to the headphones, and he said, "Well, Greg, if you're diving, you don't need sound because you got vibrate." Let me just share something with you there. If you're out shoulder deep, okay, and you're in the ocean and waves are pounding against you and the sand below your feet is swirling around and your feet are sinking into it, A, you're going to fall, so you better have the right headphones. And B, if you're only relying on sound from a vibrator, it's not even a sound, it's a buzz, then you're really not knowing what your detector is telling you, because everybody knows your detector tells you all kinds of things: short beeps, long beeps, scratchy beeps, sharp beats, high tone, low tone, whatever, loud, soft, all mixed together in a combination thereof. So if you're just using vibrating, you're missing out on 70% of your detector's ability to communicate with you. The other thing is you want to know kind of what you're digging, okay? You just, it's hard to dig when waves are beating you and things are swirling around. So you kind of want to get out of some of the junk if you can. Another thing is if you're underwater diving and you're in soft sand once again where you actually have to scoop stuff out, or you're in, let's say, a lake and it's murky and it's soft, you're limited on air. You're limited on time. You don't want to be jerking around with everything there is to jerk around with. Okay. So that's my answer to that. You can believe that or not, but that's really the way it is. So let's get into the other contest. What do we got here? It's under the table. Oh, I had a troll uh, bash me, and I had to, and I'll tell you about it in a minute. Well, I'll tell you now. He kept bashing me, and of course, they kept asking, well, what's the best beginner detector? What's the best beginner detector? What is it, Greg? Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me. Okay, and once again, it's not price, and it's really based on you and what kind of hunting you're doing. But they were just trolling me, so I had to tell them what they wanted to hear, and everybody knows what they wanted to hear. So I told them the Nokta Simplex, because the Nokta Simplex is really what forced this detector to come to be. So, anyways, heads exploded, butts got hurt. Oh my God, it was the end of the world. And one guy just kept on with these long dissertations telling me how terrible the Noctis Simplex was, and he had one, and it was the worst ever. And I mean, like 4 or 5 posts, just on and on and on. And I'm a Nocta fanboy, and blah 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 blah. It's like, well, first off, I don't even own a Nocta. My wife owns a Simplex, but I don't own one. And second off, you were just so rude and whatever, and bashing another detector when it really wasn't part of the discussion of the video. If I had a video about a Nocta Simplex or a Legend, and I happened to say that the Minelab was better, and a bunch of guys got on there and started trashing the Minelab, whatever, I would just block them too because I don't want to hear it. They're both good detectors. So, anyways, but because he bashed me about Nocta, I went to my favorite detector source, which is Destination Gold Detectors. I'll have a link to them down there, and if you could use that link, I'd appreciate it because I might make a buck or two. I was actually looking at a scan scoop because I wanted to go on a small trip, but I didn't want an expensive one. Some of those are $300 or $400, and they had this one on sale, a little over $100. And it's a really nice little scoop. And the reason I picked it to give away is because it's a Nokta Sand Scoop. So Nokta me, Nokta you. Anyways, it's a nice scoop. It's not too big, about 6 and 8 inches across, I guess. It's welded nice everywhere. It's got a lot of foundations. This piece right here comes off with these 4 screws, and this holds the handle on it, the long handle. And inside the box is a short handle. Okay, it's got that little wrench in there where you can see, take those little screws out. So if you take this out, you can attach that short handle and just do some little beach scooping, or if you're diving, if you want to drag it in the water with you. Um, if you don't, just leave this here and slip the long handle in. The long handle looks like that, and it comes with it because I bought the package. So you'd have only the best because that's the way I am. So to win this, remember, it is a separate comment. And to win that, you put Nocta is cool. Nocta is cool. Just to rib the guy a little bit. Anyways, I could care less if Nocta's cool or not. It's a nice thing. Go to Destination Gold. If you don't win it with my link, I'll make a couple bucks and I'll keep bringing you videos like this. And everybody will be happy, especially you, because these are good videos. Anyways, guys, if you got anything else you want to comment, go ahead and comment. Light me up. Go crazy. Have fun with it. But I'm probably not going to answer many comments because I basically said my piece. But I will tell you this. I'm fixing to do one on the dais, okay? And I'm probably going to buy a Legend just because everybody has that. And I'll tell you the bad stuff with the Legend. And I'll tell you the bad stuff with the dais. Maybe I'll go back and buy the Manicore one day. I got rid of my 800. I was going to get a 900 Minelab, but I didn't do it. But we'll get around to it one day. But hey, that's the end of the video. Like, subscribe, share, whatever. And I got to answer this phone. See ya.